Hey Venti viewers, thanks for joining me today. Today we're in Luminar Neo. They just announced a new noise removal plugin that I just added into the app here. I've got a couple different photos that we're gonna play with. I've got two from a drone and two from the Sony A74. I jacked up the ISO just to really see what this new plugin can do. So let's dive in and get started. Okay, so the first photo that I wanted to start with here is this one at Pacific Park. Now my ISO, I jacked it all the way up on the Sony A74. It is 51,200. So let's dive into this photo and see what we can do. So the first thing I want to do is just add a little bit of an enhancement here. And let's go to our develop, bring the shadows down a little bit just to hide some of that noise. Highlights down a bit. Okay. So let's go to our noiseless AI extension, which is right here. And if you want to add it, you can go up to the little puzzle piece here and then just hit install and then it adds it there. So it gives advice based on the photo as well. And this, it's recommending high, which makes sense. So let's just see what we can do. All right, so now that it's done it, let's see the before and the after. Wow, that's pretty incredible. So we can also change a few things here. We have our lumosity, denoise, our details, and our sharpness. So let's zoom back in here a little bit and just kind of see what those do. So lumosity, denoise, yeah, I think that's primarily what we want to keep the same. Our details does bring some of the details back, but a little bit of noise. We'll probably keep that around a 55. And then we can kind of up our sharpness a little bit too. So let's zoom out. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. There is still little noise in the sky, but we could do a few things to fix that. For instance, if we go to mystical, that's gonna kind of soften the image a little bit, and maybe even let's give it a little bit of a glow. Yeah, there we go. So this is what we started with. This is what we have. Let's zoom in. There's all the noise. There's it without the noise. Really good, nicely done. So let's go to our next image here. We have this nice photo with the little sliver of a moon that I took recently. So let's just kind of enhance the photo a little bit just to brighten it up a bit, and then we'll enhance the sky as well. So if we zoom in here, we can see there's a good amount of noise even down here as well. So we're gonna go to the noiseless AI, and this also is gonna recommend it for high. We'll hit high. Okay, so it's done it for us. Let's scroll down here, take a look. So here's the before, here's the after. Did a really nice job. I think I want to bring some of the sharpness back just a little bit. Let's take a look at the moon. Where is the moon? There it is. So this was the before, this is the after. That's not bad at all. And again, to kind of help relieve some of that, a little bit of noise up there, we can go to our mystical and just jack that up a little bit and go to our glow, bring that up a bit. Even to get rid of a little bit more of that noise, what we can do is we can go to our structure, we'll go to masking, we'll go to a linear gradient, drag it down, and just add some negative structure. Yeah, that looks great. So this is, let's zoom in here, maybe right about here. So this is what we started with, and this is what we have. So really nicely done there. Really looks good in the sky, the before and the after. So now let's dive into some drone stuff. So this is shot with a Mavic 3. Now the ISO is 1600, but remember the Mavic 3 sensor is a lot smaller than the Sony A74. So if you jack up the ISO to higher numbers like 1600, you're still gonna have a lot of grain in the image. So let's do a quick enhance adjustment here just so we can kind of bring up our colors and our grain as well. So we'll go to develop and bring up the exposure, maybe the shadows a bit, highlights down, bring the smart contrast up a bit. There we go. So if we zoom in here, we can see there's a good amount of noise over here in the corner and just overall in the image. So let's see what this noiseless AI can do for a drone photo. Now this one it's only going to recommend middle, so not as aggressive as the previous two, but let's do that now. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's go over to this corner. Wow, that looks great. So this is what we started with. Yeah, that's fantastic. And since we don't have a sky in this image, we can bring up our details maybe a little bit more and our sharpness. And then again, I'll go down here to this mystical because I love the mystical look that you get. and maybe even give it a little bit of a glow. So this is what we started with. That's what we have. Zoom in here. So the before and the after. Overall, that did a pretty good job. A lot of grain, and now it's gone. So we have one more image here. Now this one was taken with the telephoto camera on the Mavic 3. So the ISO is 800, but again, that sensor, I should say, is even smaller than the regular sensor on the Mavic 3. So ISO 800 is gonna go a lot farther than on a Sony or even the Mavic larger camera. So let's go to enhance here, bring up all those colors and that brightness. So let's zoom in on these people here. Yeah, good amount of grain. Still pretty detailed though, considering it was really dark and that sensor is actually pretty small. I'm actually gonna increase the structure a little bit before we do this, just to kind of see. So that's what we're starting with. Let's go to our noiseless AI. This is only recommending low because, well, algorithms. So let's try that again. And speaking of algorithms, if you're liking this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because we're trying to beat the algorithm and grow the channel. So yeah, support us. Anyways, let's dive back in here. Okay, so let's see what it did. Here's your before, here's your after. Notice right in here, your before and your after. Yeah, did a really nice job. We can actually see all the humans now. Let's even go to develop and bring up the exposure a little bit more just to kind of see what we're working with here. Bring down the highlights, up the smart contrast. Yeah, that's looking pretty dang good with the noiseless AI function in Luminar Neo. Really like that. So that's pretty much all I have for you. Went over a couple different photos there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.